Welcome back to SV Ramble On. This is our main sheet winch. It's a Barlow 20 and it's non-tailing single speed. In order to use it, you have to clean it off. Tacking and jibing becomes a pain in the butt because easing the main sheet is a process of uncleating it and then easing it out a little bit. If you've been watching for any length of time, you probably saw the Variant 2-speed 2235 self-tailing winch. I picked it up at a marine consignment store for about 50 bucks. I had to make a little piece on the inside once I rebuilt it and fabricated the piece to go inside. This thing's brilliant. It works great. I had to cut a fiberglass disc because the base is bigger. Obviously it's a larger diameter. I cut a base at a G10. So I'm going to take this off, epoxy this down, secure it to the deck, remove the winch, drill new holes, fill and fair, and do a bunch of good, fun epoxy stuff. Let's get rolling. Alright, so I took the headliner down to access the backing plate and the bolts and everything for the non-tailing winch that I'm going to uninstall. So, just a matter of taking everything apart. It's still a really good winch. No problems with it whatsoever. So it's like 90 degrees out, maybe 95 right now. And what I did, I mixed up a batch and it's already starting to get hot. West Systems 105 with 206 slow hardener. And I just put it in a little zippy and use it like a cake decorator. So I put duct tape in the ceiling on the inside, keep the epoxy from dripping down. So bamboo skewers are pretty good for poking down, just making sure that it gets all the way down in the hole. See, that thing still can take some more. And I like to leave, I'm going to leave these a little tall because, like I said, this whole disc gets shaved down to the height of the new green G10 ring. So what usually happens is as the epoxy cures, it sort of settles out by itself. Alright, we're back today and the epoxy's all cured, but what I need to do is take the Multi-Master, pare down this little hump, make this flat and level with the G10 base. So I forgot to mention that the original pads were teak that I coated in epoxy. All the deck hardware came with teak pads. Right. So this doesn't look too bad. Now I'm going to coat it with epoxy. Basically all I'm doing is going around and pre-coating all the wood surface as well as the G10. So I got all this sanded down and cleaned everything up with acetone. It needs a little bit of fairing, but first I want to experiment with this. I'm going to add some white pigment to the epoxy and I want to paint everything first and see what it looks like. At almost $100 a quart for Perfection Plus by Interlux. Deck paint was a little cost prohibitive. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can incorporate some of this pigment into the epoxy. So I'm going to mix up some epoxy, pigment it with clear epoxy, and then I'll add the thickener and maybe some more pigment if needed. So what I'm doing is going through and plunging these out. It's 5/16 bolts, so I'm using 21/64, just one step up for the holes, just to give me some wiggle room. I've got everything painted up with epoxy paint, and you know, I added the color to the epoxy resin, so that looks pretty good. I drilled out and overboard and potted the holes with epoxy, so what you got is just solid resin so to take out the core. So now what I'm doing is just spotting the holes, putting in bolts, and just kind of lining everything up and drilling everything all the way through. And I still got to make a backing plate. And here's that beefy ass backing plate. Had to make one out of aluminum, put Tef gel on it for the stainless bolts. That's what's keeping the winch on the cabin top. This is that weird little piece I made when I got this thing at Blue Pelican Supply. This thing keeps the tailing arm from spinning around, right about there. That way the rope comes off nicely. Alright, everything put together, bedded in butyl tape. Hopefully it doesn't leak. Two-speed, self-tailing, main sheet winch. $50.
Thanks for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. You can follow us on Instagram and Facebook and check out our website at svrambleon.com.